Hey everybody, Brian Davis Races. Listen, funny thing happened to me. I went on a really great ride yesterday, had all kinds of clips figured out in my head that I was going to put together for this video, and unfortunately was in transportation. My laptop had the SD card hanging out of it and it snapped in half. So that super sucks. I had a pretty good amount of footage. I did a 106-mile ride and was really looking forward to kind of explaining my thought process on a couple different things from that ride, but that's not going to happen. So I thought I'd just catch up with you and touch base with those things that I was going to portray. So one of those things was lately I've been thinking about, actually I haven't been thinking about it. Lately it's been presented to me that I feel like I'm not hitting hard enough getting new people into cycling. And when I say it's been presented to me, I just mean I've seen these instances of other people doing that activity, and I'm jealous that I'm not doing it to my fullest capability, I guess. So one of those was somebody posted on Facebook that he ran into the person that he got him into cycling years ago, and proceeded to tell that person, hey, my whole life revolves around cycling now, and that's cool. And then yesterday on that ride, talked to two people. One is a coach of a high school mountain bike team, and he had a lot of really cool things to share about how much it impacts the kids on the team. And then another person there is a volunteer with the JDRF ride to teach people a lot about getting into cycling and all those types of things. So I asked the JDRF coach, what are some common themes that people run into that's preventing them from getting into cycling or getting comfortable with cycling, in particular road cycling? So his thoughts were mainly group riding seems to be where the most hesitation is, I guess. So I had assumed it was cars, but I guess maybe it's not. So I mean, it could be both. So I want to take some time in the next couple weeks because I'm off of racing, getting ready for cross, just having fun on the bike, drinking a beer or three. So this would be a good time to jump in some group rides and just sort of do some videos to explain the ins and outs of group rides, slower ones, faster ones, etc. So yesterday I rode with a group that was not my normal crowd, and I had a blast. It was really fun talking to new people and hearing new stories, and just getting some interactions with folks that ride differently than me. And I think there's a lot to be jealous of the way that they perform. So I did the first like 60 miles with that group, and we had a lot of fun. And then last 40 miles, there was rain coming in, and I saw two of my teammates, so I jumped in with them, and we absolutely bashed each other's face in. And when I say each other, I just mean we were on the wheel of one teammate, Brent, and Johnny and I were thoroughly attached to his wheel until he didn't want us to be attached anymore and dropped us. So that's super fun. Like, I had a blast getting dropped and melting my face with effort, but I also had a blast earlier in the day at a more reasonable pace. We were still clipping along at a great pace. I don't mean to portray that it was slow by any means. We were it was perfectly paced, actually. Anyway, but those three instances have popped up, and I'm just thinking, what am I doing to get people into cycling? So this channel is one thing, but I need some more feedback. So I'm hoping that maybe you could leave some comments, and if you can think back to when you were getting into cycling, what were some of the most intimidating parts of cycling for you? So for me, I remember the first time someone, when I lived in Chicago, saw me reading Bicycling Magazine, and she said, oh, my boyfriend and I just got a bike, or we're going to do a ride on Saturday or something like that. Total stranger, she invited me along on her ride, and I was scared to death to ride with other people because I felt like I didn't have any knowledge of how riding worked. So I graciously said no. She gave me her number and everything, but I said no. Eventually, I think I kept up with her, and then I joined a group that they had, and that was my first group ride, was in Chicago, and we went up, north of the city, and it was an awesome day. Really neat people. I remember the one piece of advice was, you don't have to hit every pothole. I remember that very clearly because I was so worried about getting out of my designated line that I just crammed into every pothole that I saw because I didn't want to deviate my line. So I guess there's a lesson, right? Anyway, those are things I'm going to work on, but what I want to hear back from you is that since I lost my footage, I don't really have anything to throw at you this week. So we're just going to set up. We're going to set up for more group ride education. What are some things that intimidated you about cycling when you got into it? Whether that's road bike or mountain biking or cyclocross or whatever discipline, but what were those things that stuck out to you as like, man, I'm so nervous about this. And yeah, for me, group rides was definitely a part of it. The car thing, I don't know, I guess it wasn't that scary. Being in Chicago, the cars were always stopped because of traffic. So cars weren't terribly scary in Chicago. I know it sounds kind of backwards, but I was never scared about cars in Chicago. And up here, for the most part, I would say 99% of drivers are fantastic. I don't know. I would call Wisconsin kind of a cycling mecca. So anyway, that's what I'm going to work on. As soon as I get a new SD card, I'll have some new videos to go on group rides. All right. I know this wasn't a terribly exciting video, but I gave you a really nice sunset. So we got that going for us. If you like what I had to say today, give me that thumbie. Please do leave a comment and let me know some things about cycling that intimidated you at first so I can hit those for newer riders. And then especially if you know a newer rider or somebody that could benefit from some little simple lessons from a YouTube channel, I'd appreciate it if you'd share my channel name with them and see if they want to subscribe. And then we'll see where it goes. I have some good ideas for this newer cycling videos. So if you like what I had to say today, subscribe, like, or comment. If you don't like what I had to say today, bye-bye.